What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the Full Court Talk podcast. DJ and are back. And of course, we got Myles back again. Say what's up.
What's going on, everyone?
So we're super excited. Well, I guess they're super excited. We got a Lakers themed podcast. I know they're excited because the Lakers have had an insane offseason. I don't think we've ever seen this from a reigning champion. But before we get into it, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. But let's get into the topics. So, topic number one, considering there was a surprisingly crazy talent pool in the second round, as well as those that went undrafted, should the Lakers have bought a second round pick, or been more aggressive using two-way contracts with the success of Alex Caruso? Second topic, losing key rotation players. Will the Lakers benefit or miss Rondo, Dwight, Avery Bradley, and Danny Green? Also, if you can choose one of those players to return, who would it be and why? Topic 3, new acquisitions. How will the addition of Wesley Matthews, Montrezl Harrell, also Dennis Schroeder, and now Marc Gasol will they benefit or hurt the Lakers? And also, is KCP's contract worth it? Topic 4, who is a realistic target in free agency for the Lakers? And topic 5, barring any new moves with the pieces that the Lakers have right now, or would it be enough to repeat? So, topic 1, what do you guys think about getting younger guys with a second round pick or like a undrafted pick or a two-way contract? What do you guys think?
Go ahead,
You want me? Okay.
Yeah, go ahead.
Well, hindsight is 2020, but hell no, dude. Are you kidding? Like, oh man, like your window is now with LeBron and AD, and yeah, you could find a gem in the second round, but really, how ready will they be to win now? Like, you only can hit with a Alex Caruso once every 6 years or something. I don't know. There's no stat on that, but you have to, like, what Rob did in free agency was just perfect. Like, you don't need the second round. You need the free agency and trades and all that stuff.
What do you think, CJ?
I mean, yeah, I would have to agree with Myles. Just seeing what the type of moves Pelinka made is a recent. But it was just, watching the draft initially, not knowing what the Lakers had up their sleeves. I wasn't sure of the kind of players that we were going to get, type free agency and who we were going to re-sign and all that stuff. And it's just so watching like a bunch of players like go in the second round and possibly go to teams that the Lakers. I mean, they could have had these guys, maybe draft and stash. But in terms of like what they could afford, like it was probably smarter on Pelinka's end not to get any picks in the second round. And so Myles said it himself, finding a Caruso, finding a Kuzma later in the draft, it's difficult, but I do believe that the Lakers have had success in the draft with the players that they got. They were able to develop them. But yeah, the window is small, especially with LeBron and AD, like moving forward, like a bunch of the guys that the Lakers ended up getting a move, which will be touched further based on the rest of the podcast. They're younger than 30 years old, so they're set. And so the reason I brought that up for that first topic is because, like guys like Marcus Howard from Marquette, who didn't even get drafted, what a 4-year player, I believe he's NBA ready, maturity and all that stuff. Guys like Nikola, who the Warriors got, like guys like that, man, it's just, they slipped so far. And I felt like, even adding them to the G League team would be a great investment. But this was before I saw the type of moves that the Lakers made, man. And it's crazy to see what they were able to accomplish in the coming days.
Yeah, I definitely agree with CJ and Myles. I mean, looking before the draft, I was like, dang, they're not going to have a pick because they traded for Dennis. And then you're looking at it like, dang, they need a point guard. And then they go and get every free agent possible. But, yeah, as far as it seems, like they don't need a rookie. They don't need some guy that's not going to be reliable. They need someone that's going to help them win now. And that's where Dennis Schroeder comes into play. That's where Wesley Matthews. We'll talk more about the big ones later. But, yeah, I definitely agree that they didn't need to make a move during the draft. obviously right now it's easy to say, right? But before, it definitely would have been interesting to see.
Yeah.
But in terms of the rotation, the Lakers lost a lot of guys, but they were also able to get like 50 other guys that are better. But missing. I think the big one that I was pretty surprised was Dwight, because it seemed like he wanted to return. He had I guess he thought he had an offer on the table, and then all of a sudden he deletes a tweet, and then it's just announced, oh, he's going to the Sixers.
Yeah.
It was a weird situation.
For sure.
A really weird situation.
It was the weirdest thing because obviously when you tweet that, you think, all right, deal signed and all that. What I think happened, I'm just speculating here. I don't know. They didn't have a word back from maybe Trez and Rich Paul yet. So we're like, okay, we'll just give Dwight this offer. And then last minute, they're like, oh, we can actually make a deal for Trez. So we'll roll with that. But yeah, I agree with you. I think Dwight will be the biggest miss of this team just because he was the defensive anchor. He's the shot blocker. He was the biggest body. So especially when playing Denver, we're gonna feel that. But shout out to the other guys too. Yeah.
Yeah. Honestly, the way that it was handled from the article I read from Bobby Marks, it almost seemed like the Lakers ghosted him when they saw that there was an offer ready for Trez, because initially the assumption that I got was that, hey Dwight, we're gonna give you this amount of money, and he's like, okay, that works for me, and he's checking back with his agent, and then when it was time to actually sign, he didn't hear anything from the Lakers, and rather than just wait, there was an offer from Philly, and he just signed it himself, and so I'm definitely gonna miss Dwight, but I feel like I would miss AB more. Surprisingly, even though he didn't play in the bubble, it's just what will always play in my mind is, that strip that he had on Pat Bev, saying that he got me messed up. You know what I mean? And it's just dogs like that for the team. And Dwight will surely be missed, but it's just, that's the one thing I wanted to bring up with this topic is just, our defense. Frank Vogel is a defensive-minded coach. And, Wes Matthews, you already know what he can do, but can you buy in with guys like Gasol and Trez? I saw somebody say it's a Clippers fan. Surprisingly, I don't agree with it, but Lou Will and Trez on the same court when they shared together, the offense was there, but defensively it was just a nightmare. And so can Vogel get these guys to buy in and play a role? And with Trez on the floor with AD, he'll cover a lot of Trez's defensive mishaps. So I guess I'm not too worried about that. But the reason why I said it could be beneficial or it could hurt the team is it's just defense. That's all it was. I was just concerned about that because as we've all seen in the playoffs, when the Lakers are locked in defensively, it was just they were monstrous, man. Teams could not score on these guys, and so losing players like Rondo, who's smart on his own right, it's just it takes a toll. But it's just with the players that we sign, it's kind of hard not to be happy, But to answer the question, it's just I'm really gonna miss Avery Bradley, but Dwight is a close second. I loved what those two did for the team. Danny Green, you guys know how I feel about Danny Green. Good riddance. No, I'm just kidding. But other than those guys, I think we definitely got better. I asked Spencer and I asked another friend of mine who's a Lakers fan. I know Spencer's not a Lakers fan, but I was just having discussions. But I said, how can the Lakers get better? Because that's what they were saying. Even during the playoffs, the scary part about it is the Lakers can get better after the season. And I was asking myself, how can they get better? I don't understand that. And it just what Pelinka did. Now I definitely understand.
Rob said, "Hold my beer."
I know exactly, man. And so yeah. So it was just it's been crazy to watch, bro, because it actually came into fruition. Everything that people were saying.
Yeah, I don't think we've ever seen a team that's come off a championship and then just have been this aggressive. Most teams will try and run it back with the same team, but no, they were okay, let's get this guy, and it was that's the way you do a free agency after you win. You stay aggressive. And
Yeah.
it's going to pay off because I think this is one of the scariest teams that we've ever seen combined without the star power, you know.
Yeah.
But I think something they're going to miss is perimeter defense. Getting a quick guy on the perimeter is going to be difficult for them to guard because we know Schroeder's not the best defender. And even Wesley Matthews, he's a little older, so he's not going to be able to stay with the Steph Curry or like Jamal Murray or Kyrie Irving.
Yeah.
So it's going to be interesting to see what they do there because we know LeBron's not going to hop on the perimeter all the time. But I think that's going to be something moving forward that they have to address. But in terms of the new acquisitions, they had a lot. 4 guys coming in. I don't think Jordan Bell and Alfonso McKinney are staying around. I would think they're going to get dropped because they're dead cap.
Yeah.
But who out of the 4 do you think is going to be the biggest benefit from this whole thing? And who do you think is going to hurt the Lakers?
You know what? Benefit for sure. I would say Trez. I mean, reigning 6th man of the year. You can't deny the accolades that this guy has, and he's going to bring another dog to the Lakers. So far, in terms of that, is just all we had is Keith. Guys that can get down and get dirty like that. And so Trez, playing with LeBron, I think it's going to utilize his talents to the best of his ability. Every time the Clippers and the Lakers play, even from the past, you could see that Bron is mentoring this guy, talking to him, chopping it up with him, even when he wasn't with the Lakers yet. And so I think they already have an established connection there. So I think Trez is going to benefit from them the most. In terms of I guess hurting the team it's Gasol. He's older. He can still pass. He can still shoot, but obviously he's not the form of his all-star self. So that might be the one. That might be a weak point for the team. Obviously because we were blessed with Dwight and his athleticism even for his age, and so getting a guy like Mark who's pretty slow on his feet, might be the one that hurt the team. But other than that, if anything, he'll still be a solid acquisition because I think it's just AD covers the ground so well. So if he's out there with AD, I feel like AD can cover a lot of ground. But Gasol being at his age at this time of his career, that might be the one. But other than that, you can't deny these 4 guys that we got. It's just insane, man.
Yeah, I hadn't thought about this. This is a good question because I was just thinking of in a collective way, the guys we shipped out versus the guys we brought in. I think I would have to agree for the biggest weakness it would be Gasol's immobility. But as a collective for both groups, we took a step back defensively, but took 3 forward offensively. The big knock on our team last year was you have a supporting cast of a bunch of guys who are past their prime. And then you turn around and you grab the 6th man of the year and the runner-up 6th man of the year. Yeah. And then you have Gasol, he's great offensively. You could post him up, he could spot up, you play high post, create some offense. Yeah. And although he's not like a rim protector like Dwight or JaVale were, or a shot blocker, but he's still a rim protector. He's smart in that way. He can position himself. And in terms of Trez defensively, he's 6'7", but he's 240 also, and he's mobile. Yeah. So he'll struggle against taller dudes, of course. But you have AD to cover for him. He's more mobile. He can stop ball more often. And me personally, I value team defense more than individual like stoppers, like lockdown defenders, just because if you have the right rotations and can get a good contest, then that's all you can ask for. So you're right. We are gonna miss Dwight, and Gasol is a step slower. And honestly, I'm a little concerned just about getting buy-in, because last year there was great chemistry. Everyone knew their role, the whole star in your role mantra. So if LeBron and AD and Frank can get buy-in from all of these guys, then hats off to them.
I actually think Wesley Matthews is going to be the one that hurts them the most. When looking at his numbers, he didn't shoot great, obviously from like 39% from the field, but he was taking mostly threes.
Mm-hmm.
But when you look at his three-point percentage, it was 36, which is pretty good. But he was getting a lot of open looks from Giannis. So that means he was missing a lot of open looks.
Yeah.
And with him getting older, I feel like it's going to drop down to maybe like 34. So I think he could be the one that hurts them the most on the offensive side. And defensively, he's going to be slower. I don't think he's as bad as Danny Green because I think Danny Green struggled a lot throughout the bubble, the season. So I think Wesley Matthews could be the one to hurt them the most, but I could see Marc Gasol being pretty slow. But still, defensively, his numbers are great. If you can get a hand up, good. But, I think Montrezl is going to be one of those guys that is going to benefit the most. I mean, offensively, he's playing with one of the best playmakers of all time. And then you're playing with just a lot of guys that have bought in already. So I think him taking a smaller deal, too, is him buying in already. He wants to win. We know that. He's shown this in the past. He's called out his guys publicly because he wants to win that badly. That Clippers team was a mess. We've seen that. And I think with him just buying in completely, he's going to be a totally different guy. I think defensively he could buy in. And I think the guy that's going to help them the most is probably Dennis Schroeder. Something that they missed desperately last year was a good, solid, just scoring guard. And this is arguably one of the best guards that LeBron's played with since Kyrie. And he's played with Lonzo. He's played with,
Caruso. No, I'm just
Caruso. He's played with Rondo. He hasn't had the best luck in terms of a ball handler, so he's had to take that himself. Dennis Schroeder could be that guy that really helps him kind of like take a step back almost.
Yeah.
So I think Schroeder could be the guy that benefits the whole team the most.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, another thing that we have to consider as well, like even though LeBron is great as he is, not everybody is built to play alongside him. Like you can see guys like that can struggle, that have struggled before in the past. And so they also have to, they have to fit his style. And obviously he's a great playmaker, but it's just his leadership all around. Like they have to get used to playing with somebody like that. You know what I mean? Not, like I said, not everybody's found success playing with LeBron. And so that's another thing. And in terms of like Wes Matthews, like most definitely, bro, like that's one to watch out for. But hey, honestly, at this point, I'll take anybody over Danny Green. I mean, after that first game against the Clippers, like, hey, LA should put an APB out on that guy, man, because he disappeared. And so I'm really hoping that Wes Matthews could at least stay consistent more than Danny Green ever did, But yeah, and you're right, like LeBron, like in terms of guards, like Schroeder's probably going to give him like the best ball handler that he's had since Kyrie, able to create his own offense. Because if you look at last year, like Rondo was great, so was Caruso was good, but for the most part, like Rondo, like he can't create his own shot. I mean, he can shoot the three and he can drive in, over so often, but he'd rather pass first. Caruso, like he's an off-ball player, he can't handle the ball. So, like Schroeder creating his own offense, that'll definitely help them in the long run, man. Taking the pressure off LeBron, just in my opinion.
Yeah,
100%, and like especially that's needed this season because of the quick turnaround. You make a deep playoff run, and then you have a month and a half to 2 months off, and then you get right back into it. So in terms of, I know LeBron hates like the term load managing, but like you can manage his minutes over the course of the season and still be very competitive because of the guys you picked up. That wasn't the case last year. That's why we cooked like Rondo and KCP and Danny Green so much, is because those non-LeBron minutes they couldn't steady the ship. But now you have a second captain in Schroeder, where you're right, he can run the offense and LeBron can just like go to the bathroom real quick, or he can just kick back and not have to worry about, oh man, like I have to get right back in here and take over again.
That's true.
Yeah, and speaking of KCP, do you guys think he was worth the contract?
100%, yes. Because he's making pretty much what Danny made last year, like 12 to 15 mil. Yeah. And honestly, he took Danny's role last year. He was our, and still is, in my opinion, our premier 3-and-D guy. Like if you look back in the playoff run, he hit timely buckets. Especially I think it was game 6 against Miami. He had like a 5-point swing in the last minute or two. So yeah, honestly, I was surprised. I think we got him on a bargain. I thought he was going to get 18 per year. So shout out to him and shout out to Clutch for taking a little homie discount.
Yeah, man. Hey, all I have to say is Clutch.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, you know what? Initially, like, I was really hoping that we didn't lose KCP, obviously, because, like Myles said, he was what we envisioned for Danny Green. You know, who would have thought that he would be that 3-and-D guy? I mean, that was part of his resume, but with his early years in the Lakers, like, it didn't look the same way. Like Myles said in the previous podcast, my fondest memory of him was airballing a 3 and Kobe walking out. You know what I mean? It's a shame, And so he's definitely come a long way. Like, man, I have to delete my tweets, I think, in my opinion.
Nah, don't do it. Say it with your chest. It's fine. Say it with your chest.
Right? Yeah, but it's crazy because I went from actually like wanting to get this guy off my team to like pleading that he resigns. You know what I mean? And yeah, I think he's definitely worth it. It's just I'm interested to see how he can, perform this coming season because, earlier in the season last season he struggled, right? And it wasn't until like we resumed play that he stepped his game up. And so like when it comes down to it, like, yeah, he definitely deserves it, but it's just how is he going to respond, with everything that's happened since the beginning of last season. So yeah, KCP, thanks for signing back. Clutch ties.
And I think like prior to the restart, he probably wouldn't have got this deal.
Exactly.
The way he came up in that finals, like he was hitting the corner shot with ease.
Yeah.
And I think like every time it seemed like the Heat were getting close, KCP was there to save him.
Yeah.
And I think that's what kind of like blew up for him. But I really thought, like Myles said, I really thought he was going to get 18 mil. Because he said he wanted more than Danny Green.
Oh, yeah.
And rightfully so. Yeah. I mean, Danny Green missed a wide open game winner. So
yeah, and like especially he was getting some looks from the Knicks. And like obviously he won't contend, but if you can keep that big market lifestyle and get paid more and you're just coming off a chip, personally, like of course you would take that. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And especially like just being in LA is different.
Yeah.
We know he can handle it. He's been there for kind of a long time now.
4 years about, yeah.
Yeah, which is crazy because I remember when he was in Detroit and couldn't get a contract, and now he's been getting steady contracts from Lakers, and it's crazy to see like how far he's come.
Yeah.
But yeah, I definitely do think he was worth the money. I think you guys really couldn't afford to lose him because he's kind of turned into your defensive perimeter anchor. You guys definitely need him, and I think offensively, if he can just hit open threes, that's all you need him to do. You don't need him to just score 15 points a game. You just need like a cool like 10, 12 points.
Yeah, I mean, hey man, Pelinka said it best. He's the savior.
Hey, mana from heaven is what he said.
So I don't know if we should ask this, but who's a realistic target for the Lakers in free agency?
Go ahead, man.
Us. 3 of us, man.
I know, right?
Give us 10
I'll
days.
take a 2-way.
Yeah, thanks. Dude, I mean, like even just this morning they got Keith on a discount also.
They signed him?
I don't yeah. He came back for the minimum. It's about like 2.3, 2.6.
Good for him.
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, good for us because I think he could have got more money somewhere else, but
yeah.
I mean, they really covered all their bases here. Whatever they lost, they compensated for in some other way, or like just a little bit. Like on paper, this team is far more talented than last year's. Like I actually wanted to go in on 2K just to see like compare the ratings, and then you know what I'm saying, like compare like Wes Matthews versus Danny Green and Schroeder versus Rondo and all that. Like they are significantly better. And I just want to give a shout out again to Rob because he finished. It was like he was tied for 7th in voting for Executive of the Year, Like, come on, that's just hating.
That's a shame, man.
Yeah,
Well, I
And
mean, honestly, yeah. Go ahead, bro. Go ahead.
I'm just saying, like, it's insane.
Yeah,
We've never seen this. I've never seen so many guys like. I get taking a discount, but at the age of like 27, 28, in your prime, and you're gonna
exactly.
go and win a championship. Good for
Yes.
you.
yeah,
Like,
Yeah.
good for these guys getting deals, man. That's crazy.
Exactly. We're like good for you because I would have taken that money.
Exactly.
yeah,
Exactly. Go
yeah.
ahead, CJ.
No, I mean, it's just going off of what Miles said about Keith. Like, his brother got a sizable contract from the Clippers, man. Like, what the heck, you know? And so, like, it definitely helps that they have a joint bank account because, I mean, I don't know if you guys saw. I mean, I'm pretty
I
sure
saw
Miles
that.
saw. Like,
Yeah.
he said that he can take care. He basically said, "You can take care of the money. I'll take care of another second chip." You know what I mean? And so, like, that's crazy to say. You're almost guaranteeing the chip for the Lakers. With good reason with everybody that we got. And so, like, realistically speaking, because I saw earlier that so we say we do drop, we waive McKinney and Bell, and so we have enough for 2 minimum vet contracts. So that's what I saw, and there's just a list of free agents that Bobby Marks has listed, and it's just I want to throw in some names out there, bro. That I feel like that can help the team. So the first one is Wayne Ellington. Shooter. He has
He
history
got
with the
signed.
Lakers. He got signed?
I think he went to the Suns.
Oh, okay. So he went to the Suns?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I made a list here. Rondé Hollis-Jefferson, good defender, played for the Raptors, had a prominent role. I feel like, as another wing, he could help. It's a shame, but Reggie Jackson, I feel like he wasn't utilized well with the Clippers. After that game against the Mavericks, this guy was benched. Never saw daylight after that, you know. And so, you have Marco Bellinelli, and the last one I want to say is Courtney Lee. Another guy that he's undersized, but he can defend and he can get to the cup. He didn't get that much playing time with the Mavericks, but it's just there's a list of guys that the Lakers can go to, and the last guy I'm going to say is Boogie. Boogie has made it known that he wants to return to the Lakers. It's just a matter of, will he accept the same contract or maybe even lower than what he got before and, at a chance at a ship. And so it's just interesting to see because at this point, I feel like the Lakers squad is pretty much complete. Anything else is just icing on the cake. So that's just what I think. And it's crazy because I was telling Myles and, I want to keep Jordan Bell. I always have a thing for the guy because when the Lakers drafted back then, when he entered the draft, we picked up Thomas Bryant instead of him. Like he was still there, and I was always salty about that because the cash considerations that he got, and he played so well, but sooner down the line, obviously, he couldn't find a home after the Warriors. So, I feel like he just needs a situation where it needs to replicate what he once had, but in terms of vet contracts, I'm willing to take anybody. I mean, Pelinka, I trust the guy now after everything that he's done.
Yeah.
And so yeah, just moving forward, I think the Lakers are pretty much done. Anything else is just an added bonus.
Can I throw in a quick story real quick?
Go ahead.
So I hope we drop Jordan Bell because I actually saw him at Disneyland. I was with my girlfriend and a bunch of her cousins, and
yeah,
I didn't care to go up to him because I don't I'm not a Warrior fan, but my girlfriend and her cousin who are both Warrior fans were trying to say hi to him and all that stuff. But he just didn't acknowledge him. It's a little personal, I know, but so for me, I'm like, nah, screw him, man, just wave his ass.
No,
Go ahead, Spencer.
I can relate to that because I saw the Lopez twins at Disney World. Did not want to talk to me at all. And so I can relate to that. And Bryson, or my brother and I, we're twins. So I was like, that's perfect.
Oh, that's dope.
Nothing, man. Nothing.
Wow.
Yeah.
But to go back to Jordan Bell,
he
got dropped from the Warriors because he was super immature.
Yeah.
It wasn't like his play style, anything like that. I think he bought a candle on Mike Brown's room and he left it there or something.
I remember the story.
And
I do. Yeah.
So I think that's why ultimately he lost all his minutes after that, and then eventually he was just dropped. So it's because of I think he was doing stuff like that constantly, and eventually he got out to the media.
Just immaturity, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I want to go back to what your guys' stories. I definitely understand like being a pro athlete or like a musician or another well-known guy in the public, but it's just we're the reasons why you guys are the way that you are.
Exactly.
So the least that you can do is acknowledge the fans, like as long as they're not being obnoxious, and I'm pretty sure none of you guys are being obnoxious. It's just a picture, man. It's not gonna hurt.
Yeah.
I mean, now I understand, like with COVID, definitely not. But it's just back then, it's just, hey, it comes with the territory. And like I want to share something for you guys. Like I have a picture of Marco Bellinelli.
Hey,
Actually,
dope.
yeah, most randomest guy, man. His rookie season with the Warriors, I saw him at Universal Studios, and like he was like one of the nicest guys in the world. Like I just went up to him like, "Hey, Marco Bellinelli." Like
Hey.
he was surprised that I recognized him.
Yeah.
Cause, like like he was probably like I would assume that you know Monte,
Yeah.
like all these other guys, and I'm just like, nah, like I watch hoop, like I know who you are, like can I get a picture? And then he was cool about it, but like not everybody's like that, and the last thing I want to say is the only time I'm gonna disrespect like a player's wishes if it was Kobe. I mean, if it was Kobe, like security would have to stop me. You know what I mean? Because I have a friend who was at Disneyland, and they didn't even shut it down, and so Kobe was eating somewhere, and that's when they shut down the restaurant. But like, my guy, he still found a way to get a picture of himself with Kobe in the back. You know what I mean? So that was probably the only time I'd be disrespectful. But other than that, like it comes with the territory. You know what I mean? And so like they should have just taken the picture.
Yeah,
man.
dude. Like what pissed me off is like, yeah, if you're Steph Curry, if you're LeBron, if you're Kawhi, sure, yeah, you get it all the time. You're Jordan freaking Bell, man. Just take 2 minutes out of your day and take a picture. Like, dog, who the hell do you think you are? You probably had to go back to the room to order some stuff.
I remember that. Yeah.
I mean, honestly, like, because I think it was after Kevon Looney's like rookie year. I actually met Kevon Looney at Disneyland. He was like one of the nicest guys. Like he was on a phone call, and then my brother and I were just waiting there, and then he's like, "Hey, come on, I'll take a picture with you." Like mid phone call. I was like, "Damn, that's cool, man."
Dope, yeah.
And like that's how you're supposed to be. Because he wasn't like he's not a big dude. Like he's not like the most popular dude, but just be cool about it,
Yeah.
So I thought athletes can be like that,
Yeah.
But
no, exactly. You're not obligated to be like, "Hey, come here, I'll take every picture." You're not obligated to. You're not obligated to do that. But I mean, like, bro, like you said, Myles, you're Jordan Bell. Like take the time out of your day, and like, come on, Looney. That's a perfect example of giving back to the community. You know what I mean? Because, bro, hey, we pay their salary. No, I'm just kidding.
Low-key.
Yeah, man.
But to get back on topic.
Yeah.
So, topic 5. Barring any moves, with the pieces the Lakers have right now, would it be enough for a chance to repeat? Whoever wants to go first.
I'll go. Yeah, I mean, 100%. 1,000%. Like, oh, man. I still can't believe how we pulled off a bunch of these moves because, as I said, like last time, championship teams are made with guys who are worth more than their contract. Like we got Trez at a discount, we got Keith at a discount, and thanks to those guys who value winning over money, we were able to re-up, reload, and get significantly better. One team I do want to keep an eye out for is the Portland Trail Blazers because they also had a damn good offseason themselves.
Oh yeah.
But I still like our matchup against them. I'm still worried about when we see Jokic, but I mean overall, I'm not worried about any teams.
Except the Warriors.
Hey, you know what? That's fair. I mean, I think I had to put a 1 somewhere on this 2020 championship.
I know. I'm like, dude, I have to buy more stuff next year. Damn, man. Paying these guys salaries again. Go ahead.
I know. No, it's all good. I mean, I want to say, at the end of the day, AD hasn't resigned, man. So I'm kind of sweating a little bit. I mean, obviously, he's obviously going to resign. You know what I mean? Like Spencer said it best. The Warriors are threatening, take him away from us, man. So, I mean, I don't know. I don't know. No,
We'll
I'm
take
just
him.
kidding. But but I mean, obviously AD is gonna resign, and like we are primed to repeat. Like you said, Spence, like this turnaround has been like one of the best turnarounds, if not the best in NBA history. Players that we got and their accolades, they speak for themselves. And so, in terms of teams that I'm afraid of, I mean, yeah, Portland in the West, because they had one hell of an offseason. You could say they re-upped. One of the guys that they got, I was telling you, Spence, Harry Giles. I wanted him.
Yeah.
He could have been like a solid, like not really prominent backup, but a big if we needed. He's still young and athletic. But yeah, they definitely, they stepped their game up this offseason, to match up with us. And so in terms of just overall, Brooklyn, Brooklyn is a team to watch out for. If KD can get back to at least 80%, that's going to be something. But, Miami, they lost pieces but gained a few pieces as well. Avery Bradley going to them, but they lost Jay Crowder, who's a dog in their own right. And so, like, Brooklyn, I'm not relying on Kyrie to stay healthy, which is why I'm kind of not too scared of them. You know what I mean? And so, like, we have all the right pieces and a great recipe just for another ship. But it's just like Myles touched based on earlier. It's just, can these guys buy in, to the culture and like be locked in moving forward? Because that's exactly what you need on a championship, team. And like you could say that you have all the great players and all good players. They know their roles, but there's no chemistry there. I mean, perfect example is the Clippers. You're not going to get anywhere, right?
Yeah.
I mean, the Clippers obviously don't have LeBron and AD, but it's just, buying into the Lake Show culture is what's going to be questionable for these guys. And like you said, Spence, I mean, it's a good start. Some of these guys, it's like a pay cut just to be there. And so I think our chances are very high. I 100% guarantee we'll be in the Western Conference Finals. Championship is pretty much guaranteed if everybody can just buy into the culture.
Yeah, I would pencil them in as the champions. I think they've done enough on paper to be one of the most frightening teams that we've ever seen since the Warriors with KD. We've never seen a bench duo like Trez and Dennis Schroeder with a duo like AD and LeBron. You could argue that Lou Will and Trez with Kawhi and Paul George, but Paul George and Kawhi weren't good together at least. So to see like two duos like that, and you have the luxury of having one of them off your bench, that's frightening. That's insanely frightening. But like you said, the Trailblazers had an amazing offseason. Getting Robco for a discount like that,
yeah, man,
was crazy. Because I really wanted the Warriors to get him because we need defenders,
Yeah.
But he is essentially a guy that can guard all five positions, can shoot the three.
Yeah.
And I'm shocked Hassan Whiteside hasn't been signed yet, but I'm glad that the Trailblazers didn't go back for him because he's not that good. He's missing a lot of IQ, and getting a guy that's as bouncy as Harry Giles to pair alongside with Yusuf Nurkic, it's good. So I think they're going to be a team to watch out for, but even with all the moves, they're still going to lose to the Lakers. There's just too much talent on that Lakers squad. Bench-wise, they lost a lot. I think the Trailblazers haven't done enough on their bench yet, so it'll be interesting to see what they do going forward. But I think even the Nuggets, like, they lost a lot of their bench, and they were kind of desperate to pick up Paul Millsap back up. And for him to get a $10 million contract is kind of insane to me because he's super injury-prone.
Yeah.
I don't think he's played, like more than 2/3 of a season, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he couldn't even beat LeBron in his prime. Like, how is he going to beat LeBron now? Like, yeah, you're right. Because most notably, they missed. They lost Jeremy Grant to the Pistons. Like, he was their biggest body and best defender for any wing player. So, but still, I mean, when you have Joker and Murray, like, that's a scary team. Yeah.
But, I mean, it was interesting to see that Jeremy Grant was offered the same exact contract from the Nuggets, but he turned it down for the Pistons. So
Yeah.
either they didn't guarantee him a starting spot, or he just wants a bigger role. But I think Jeremy Grant's definitely going to regret that. I think he needs to be on a team that has some kind of like structure. The Pistons don't have structure. The Pistons are just signing whoever the hell they
Yeah.
can. Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, like, going back to the Nuggets, like they lost key guys that were a major contributing factor to them reaching the Western Conference Finals. Jeremy Grant, Tony Craig, and even Plumlee. You know, those three guys, like, they definitely helped the team out. You know, Torrey Craig and like Jeremy Grant, these guys were, you could throw these guys on the opposing team's best player, and like they would take their turns, you know, slowing them down. And so I feel like that was a big mistake letting them walk. And like you said, Spence, it's interesting to see, like, Jeremy Grant got the same exact contract extension or offer from the Nuggets, but he chose to go to the Pistons. I don't know, maybe he's trying to be the face of the franchise, you know, trying to be their Steph, you know, being a vocal point of their offense. You know, I don't understand, but yeah, it's just a blow to their rotation because, I mean, even though you still have Jokic and Murray, like, and they proved that they can do it themselves, obviously they can't do that for a whole season plus the playoffs. You know, you're going to need guys like Jeremy Grant. And, like, you know what, Jeremy Grant, like, there's always one random player that goes off against the Lakers. And for some reason, it was Jeremy Grant, man. Like, those numbers that he put up in the series against us, like, I was like, wow, who is this guy? You know, I know who he was, but it's just, you know, it's interesting to see because I don't see the Pistons going to the playoffs. I definitely don't. And, like, if the Nuggets can get Blake, I mean, somehow it'll be interesting.
I think that's dead now.
It's dead?
Because they already signed Jeremy Grant and Plumlee, so.
Yeah, no sign and trade needed?
I don't think so.
So that just goes to show that they lost key pieces without anything in return. And, like, unless they're looking for Ball and MPJ to make the giant leap, then I don't know. But, yeah, man, like, teams out there, like, they're retooling. It's just the Nuggets, I don't know what happened with them. And so, yeah, we're primed to make another run at it, in my opinion.
Yeah. But, you know, that's going to do it for our 20th podcast. Thank you to Myles for coming back on. Thank you to CJ for coming on.
Yeah, this is a lot for having me back. Yeah, dude, this was great.
But
always great.
Yeah, you're always welcome to come back because we always seem to have like some random thing.
Yeah, dude, I want to share more stories with you guys and vice versa because that conversation about Jordan Bell getting lost in the sauce. That's great,
one day we'll just have a day just full of just stories that we have meeting NBA players, everything like that, and we'll talk about that because that just seems like a fun idea.
Yeah.
But that's gonna do it for us. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. We have done 4 episodes in like a week, so we are working pretty hard right now. But check out our social medias down in the description. But catch you guys in the next one. See you guys.